here, 1-0 here in this best of 2 against Najin Shield on the left. And Shield, as we've said, desperately need some points here. If they started off the group stage 0-2 to World Elite in their first game, and staring down the barrel of another potential 0-2 here against IG in 2 out of 2 games. They'd love to pick up some points here if they can. So Papa Smithy, what do they need to do to make sure they can get through here?
Not really clear, to be honest. I mean, the one adaptation they've made so far is the ban on Lulu. I mean, looking back on the first game there, it was just some misplays up top. They used a lot of resources and they lost out. If you put 3 members top against 2, you expect to come out at least even. You know, we always talk about there was a gank and it went 1-for-1. Therefore, the team that only had 2 members won out. Obviously, if you're giving away 2 kills, you're really losing. And it was just that negative snowball that was started. The kid got super far ahead. Diana just had so much more presence than Kha'Zix in fight because he could never get going, and Malphite obviously is a blocker to some degree for that Kha'Zix pressure. And so Shield's comp just didn't really achieve what it wanted to, so they're going to try something different here, and what a way to start off with a champion who's been the talk of all the competitors seeing, Kayle.
Yeah, first pick Kayle here for Najin Shield. The bans for them, by the way, Master Yi again, Lulu and Diana, so getting 2 of the 3 champions from last game out of the way. And then Rise, Shen and Sona, the bans here again, that Sona getting targeted. Here, kind of picking on Wolf a little in terms of support picks. Kayle, as you said, very, very powerful champion. It's going to be first picked up here, and Jarvan's going to quickly get picked up here by IG. And I have to say, I think the nice thing about IG having Jarvan is that they definitely have the option of playing it either jungle or top. I don't know if every team has that option, but PDD, I mean, he just made a video about it, right? This dude knows how to play Jarvan in top lane if they want to put him there.
Yeah, it is exciting to see the champion, the favorite champion of PDD come through in the picks here. And they could even play it mid. I've seen Z-Time play mid Jarvan. Mid Jarvan, I mean, the hard engage at level 2 with a red pot might be able to take down a Kayle. It's kind of hard to say. Shield sticking with the Thresh pick, which is interesting to me.
I mean, I like it. I like Thresh. I'm happy to see more of it, but seems like when Wolf doesn't get Sona and didn't get Lulu, no, that went to Lulu got banned this game, and that was kind of a blocker pick for IG last game, and Sona has been banned 2 out of 2 games here. Yeah, Thresh seems to be the next one here for Wolf, and he's going to pick it up here again for Najin Shield, which I'm happy to see again, but certainly I hope they execute some of their crazy ganks a little bit better. I mean, Thresh gets a lot of things done, but once you use all of his abilities, you're kind of committed. You know, if you use them to get out, you're good. If you use them to get in, you're in. So a lot of that.
Speaking of getting in there, this is going to be a mid lane Jace for sure from Zeta here. He loves the mid Jace.
He does.
It's, he's got a ranged auto attacks. He doesn't have the melee versus Kayle issue here, and I think he can trade quite well with Kayle as well. So I do like the Jace pickup.
I think the nicest thing about Kayle versus Jace is that Jace can actually stay out of Reckoning range, which is not something a lot of mid laners can say. And I mean, as you said, can even trade here as well. So I like the pick here as well. Maybe the puzzle, as it were, has been solved, because Kayle's been giving a lot of people grief in the mid lane especially, and oh man, Najin Shield sticking to their gun through their duo lane here, going to pick up Tristana again for Loco Doco, and Elise is their 4th pick as well. Going to be top lane, I guess, which could create even more exciting things. I mean, if you're going to give Expression...
What did we see yesterday, though? Exactly. If you're going to give Expression a champion, what did we see yesterday? His Elise completely rocked Xiaomei's Rumble, and with gank pressure for sure, but he clearly showed that he's very, very capable in Elise, so it's nice for that to slip through, and it's a great pickup.
Kind of interesting to see MF going here again to Kid for IG, so Kid seems to prefer that one as their AD, much like Loco preferring Tristana here in these situations, and please pick Annie. Please pick Annie.
Which, of course, will throw everything off.
Yes, it will.
Mate, I'm not going to speak.
That's not Annie. That's Nidalee. That makes me disappointed. But that would make more sense.
We don't come to expect sense out of IG. We're almost sad when the comps make sense, pastry time.
That's true, we are. It's a little bit sad last game. IG here okay. So a little bit funky. Janna and Nidalee as their last few picks here. Okay, now stuff's getting crazy.
There's going to be more swaps.
There's going to be a lot of swaps.
Expect that.
Okay.
Now, we might not know till the last possible minute whether we're going to see Jace mid or Nidalee mid. Both of them certainly have a lot of potential. But if I was a betting man, I'd say Jace, but I don't know.
Yeah, we can definitely expect, I think, Jarvan in the jungle here for IG and MF Janna for them as the duo lane as well. The other two, very interchangeable here, as we've noted, and I'm curious to see if Zatai wants Jace or Nidalee here. Nidalee would be kind of cool, especially against Kayle as well. Kind of the same sort of theory in that you want to stay out of Reckoning range of Kayle. Just trade from a distance by poking her. Because if you get into a direct 1v1 with her, she usually comes out on top with just that ridiculous burst damage.
And you're correct. They stick with the Nidalee mid, so we're going to see plenty of spears coming out of this mid lane.
And I have to say, once Nidalee hits 6, I really like the pressure she can put on with teleport ganks as well. Much like Zatai's Diana got a lot of work roaming to and from the map, Nidalee in Cougar form especially gets a lot of really good roam value out. So I think Zatai is looking to do a ton of work again for his team by just going everywhere. And oh my goodness, that is a suave man.
Look at these IG skins.
That is a very suave man right there in the bottom.
I think the whole team's kitted out pretty well.
Yeah, some sweet skins all around. I mean, again, the tournament round does provide all the sweet skins. Lots of vanilla skins here, actually. On the shield side, Loco again going for vanilla Tristana skin. In fact, it's only Xin who has a skin. And
Do you think it's a high-level thing? He's one of the famous old Tristana players, so he's the classic Tristana.
Yeah, it feels like there's a little bit of that going on. I'm actually going to swap support on bottom lane real quick, and I got to fix this. There we go. That would look
Fix some OCD issues.
Yes. Well, you know, we're just used to seeing it that way. If I look down and they're on the bottom, I'll get confused. I'll be like, oh my goodness, the supports have so much CS. What is going on? Oh, they're ADs. So, gotta make sure we got that all under control. Najin Shield gonna be on the blue side this game. Again, this is our final game for this evening. The Gigabyte StarsWar League group stage is a best of 2 format. IG currently up 1-0 here. Good for 1 point at least. They pick up this game, they'll get 2 points, and Shield will get 0. Shield playing for 1 point. That is all they can get at this point by splitting the games 1-1. And they're going to start by very aggressively warding, is my guess. But maybe not. There's one ward. Ward Elite. There we go. There's the Ward Elite special. The double aggressive ward. In the red side of the jungle specifically as well. And they're going to get lots and lots of it. He gets his red is important. Because, you know, blue buff is, you know, most people get blue buff at a standard time. You have that pretty well down pat. And it's just not that crucial. I mean, some junglers it's important for their early game clear. Like a Mumu, of course, comes to mind as a classic, you know, I must have blue style jungler. But red buff is just, it's the action buff, I think, for a lot of junglers. And knowing when it is, especially on a jungler like Xin or Jarvan, which, again, we've got here for both these teams. Here in the 2v2, stuff like that. So it all adds up.
Given where the champions are posturing toward, I'm guessing we're going to have a very traditional start from both teams here in terms of lanes.
It seems like... Yes, they kind of do. In fact, with the Aegis and or Locket builds, you know, you've got a lot of that just all the things sort of style. I mean, they both have percentage armor shred, they're both good initiators, they've got AoE CCs, slow for Xin, and knock up for Jarvan if he hits it all. Yeah, I can see there. And useful ultimates that have...
That's some great English right there.
It is strong. Shout out to all the Chinese viewers tuning in. We love you guys. Zatai is good value. He was talking to Loco a lot in the lobbies.
He plays a lot. He played a lot on NA, especially.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, probably about 4 to 6 months ago, he was playing a lot. I always saw him on Scar's stream, experimenting with crazy champions in the mid lane.
He's like, I don't want to bring this to China. I'll draw you guys instead. I'll hide it on NA in plain sight on Scar's stream.
I sounded like I cut off a question you were going to ask.
What do you think of Nidalee's build here against Kayle? Because Kayle has gone real deep here with the red pot to kick things off. Definitely wants to be aggressive. Zatai, I think, just really wants to stay safe and do all the poking.
I think red pot really causes an interesting situation in mid, because it's kind of like one of those situations where we talk about summoner spells down bottom, how heal beats ignite. It kind of becomes one of those situations where can you afford not to start red pot if you suspect the enemy's going to start red pot? Because an all-in trade at level 2, which is what Kayle would probably, that's what most champions of red pot do. You know, it's there for the trade. Red pot is always going to win out. I mean, you look at someone like Scar, he often starts red pot on Gragas, who you wouldn't immediately think would benefit that much, but extra health, extra AD, the ability to bait, and of course, Gragas has his own self AD steroid, so it does make some sense there. But yeah, if your enemy has red pot, you just know that dueling is always going to be really, really terror.
Yeah, I mean, generally against Kayle, you don't really want to fight her, as I said. She's a pretty strong duelist, so I think Zatai's just playing very well here, actually, just trying to CS where he can with his range. And, you know, the nice thing about Nidalee in particular, with obviously building a lot of AP, presumably, and getting those massive spears that everybody loves to watch, the Hotshot GG is made so famous on so many different highlight reels. If you get caught by one spear in mid, like, the thing about Nidalee is that it's kind of just a nuisance for the most part, and she's got a decent heal. It's not nearly as good as it used to be, thankfully. But she runs in there, she can get some stuff done. But if you get hit by one spear from a decent range, suddenly the lane completely flips. You're like, wow. And it's like you lost a trade without doing anything. It's kind of the worst feeling ever. So,
and that's why she's so picked, even in the AP role now, that if you hit one spear, you can sometimes translate that into a turret, into a one-team fight, into someone having to shop. And that's, for a spell on, 6 seconds, there's 8 seconds cooldown, I forget. If I mouse over 6 second cooldown and below right now, that's very significant.
Jarvan there trying for the sneaky ones, but gets spotted by a vision ward that's actually in that bush. Looks like his team alerted him to that, so he's going to get out of the way, but he tried to do everyone's favorite sneak into that bush with Jarvan EQ combo, but yeah, spotted up by a very well placed ward. That's one of those wards that is kind of specific to a jungler. You don't often see that spot warded because you often want coverage essentially behind the back of dragons with the tri-bush if you can get it, and then at dragon itself for the river. But Jarvan is like Vi, I suppose, one of those champions and Shaco actually as well, although he's invisible, so that's a bit different. Just those champions that
when there's a vision ward.
No, well, sadly, Jarvan and... Imagine if Jarvan and Shaco got stapled together as a champion. That would be kind of nifty.
I don't like putting champions together because you get just hilarious things.
Yeah, and that's kind of Thresh, right? We were talking about that before. He just feels like a lot of different champions all stapled together and then put in a blender. But yeah, that kind of what is very specific to champions that like to, I guess, do sort of vector ganking, we'll call it. It's not quite that because you're not really abusing vectors as Jarvan because you actually just are in range, but certainly it's that kind of thing where you're closing sneaky gaps and trying to sneak into brushes that you normally aren't warded. But in this case, I've obviously been covered here by Najin Shield, who know what's up.
Yeah, and 2 strong, capable gankers so far denied from any lane pressure.
They're all very sad. Everybody wants to gank. Looks like bottom lane could have a tower dive. No, just a check here. Ward going. Nope, no ward going down. No, if he's actually going to find a duel here against Jarvan, but he's pretty deep in enemy territory. Does he have smite? He might. No, he doesn't even have smite, so probably can't even steal this giant wolf here. He's giving Illusion a bit of a hard time, but there's the smite from Jarvan. Clears out his wolf. Not quite sure what Nofe wanted here, because again, he's pretty deep in, but I guess just looking to see what's up, clear out some timers.
The one thing I didn't consider about top lane matchup here is that the PDD's gone back, he's picked up the tier. One thing this lets him do is he has fantastic AoE wave clear. And if he can keep Expression at a turret, here on the Elise, that's kind of a win when you're in such a high harass lane like Elise.
Yeah, and again, you kind of want to stay out of Elise's way if you can, especially as Jace with such a long range. So I think PDD is just maximum mana regen here, so we can spam out that combo right there: acceleration, gate, shock blast, and just try and farm down the waves. I mean, Elise is not horrible at farming by any means. She can last it under turret just fine, but you can make her use mana that she wouldn't like to use otherwise. It's very expensive to neurotoxin a creep because that spell costs so much mana. And yeah, you can go into spider form, they're all free, and that's well and dandy, but it can be tricky for Elise to last it under turret.
Yeah, level 3, it's already costing 90 mana, which with a 540 mana pool is no joke.
Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, it's good when it kills people, but when you kill a range creep, not very exciting, unfortunately. And Expression is not quite struggling, actually slightly ahead, but PDD is playing very, very safe in the top lane.
Yeah, and surprisingly, with these junglers, known for their ganking more so than their farming, although capable farmers, both of them, no real ganks coming through.
No, just the very often aggressive Jarvanans in Jao being denied here by some very good ward coverage. So mainly I guess farm we can talk about then, because that's mostly what these teams are doing. Nearly slightly ahead of Kayle there in the mid, so again, the Ties stayed very safe in that matchup. I mean, it seems like, actually, that's a nice score given that Kayle is wanting to be the aggressor there in that situation, whereas Elise, who was the aggressor in that lane against Jace, is staying slightly ahead in that case. Down the bottom, it's actually dead even as well, so there's just a lot of farming happening right now. Sadly, nothing too interesting, but I imagine the first blood will tell us a lot about what's going to happen in, I guess, the 15-minute kind of portion of this game. I mean, at this rate, first blood could actually just mean something like dragon or maybe even a tower, because it's kind of getting late, shall we say.
I guess looking back on the team comps a bit while we have this kind of lull in action, whenever we talk about AP in Italy, we talk about hitting a spear and then disengage. Jace, to a large extent, is the same story based on time, as we see PD get a lot of damage onto Expression up top with hitting a acceleration gate Q. So clearly this is, with Janna here, a poke comp. They have very, very strong poke between Jace and Nidalee, and then the disengage provided by Janna is well known to all. So it is interesting that we're seeing a poke comp here versus kind of a a balanced team fight comp with the dive potential of Elise and Zen.
Yeah, it's striking to me just how similar the two solo lane matchups are. It's, you know, poke-heavy champions that are trying to stay at range at very strong duelists and lane bullies who could just completely crush them. But again, one poke, one good, you know, shock plus acceleration get combo, one good spear, and the lane suddenly completely turns and Expression's forced to back as PDD gonna do the same now, pick up a few more items. I agree, I think they have a great poke comp, and Jano really fits there. I mean, it's, again, not the most common pick, but makes a lot of sense here in this comp. I think I really like the cuteness of Jarvan as well. His ultimate not often seen as a disengage, but in this comp he can really make it work. Just cut off a bunch of people, put that terrain in the middle of it, and then either EQ out or get Janna to maybe try to bail him out in there as well, or just Cataclysm Monsoon for even more disengage than they might need. So even Jarvan here gets a lot of value in terms of disengagement and helping his poke team.
In recent times, there's been a lot of talk about Kael's ult cooldown and ult range and just how strong Kael's ult is. This is a comp that deals with the Kael ult fantastically well because we're talking about long-range poke and AoE poke from Jace. It's not a situation where there's single target bursts that can be completely negated from Kael's ult. I mean, she might be able to reaction shield a spear, but that's very, very... Oh, wow, as we see the death sentence come out onto Kid.
Kid gonna get grabbed. IG just turned around like, alright, we'll try and kill Loke now. Alan Gale coming out as well.
Teleport coming in.
Yeah, there's the Zatai coming in. Wants to get some work done. Buster shot out there from Lokodoko. The box juice there by Thresh as well. Nope coming on. First blood does go to Zatai as Zinja gets in there as well, but it pounce away, and a good Monsoon there for Xiao Xiao. Keeps everybody out. Loco, they're looking for the rocket jump, finds it, ignites down as well. Howling coming out, either storm out onto Jana, and Loco's getting killed by Kid. Nope way too deep in there as Zatai picks up a second kill and save. Just missing the spear there. Will get out of the way. I think Zatai could chase you with double buffs. It's a little bit unsafe for Kael actually, as the spear again just misses. Great dodges there from Save. But Xin basically gave up his life to get a kill on a support there. Managed to give Zatai a second kill, and of course, as a result, the dragon here as well for IG. So that teleport again from Zatai doing a lot of work, and I think Xin probably went a little bit too deep there.
And speaking of deep, I mean, Loco used everything to go all in there and was to some extent barrier baited almost, which was a bit awkward. So yeah, I mean, a horrible trade, 3 for 1, never good in any books, and it turns into Dragon, and now Misfortune's going to go back, pick up a BF sword and potentially boots. It's going to be very hard for Tristana, even with her late noted early game pressure, to duel the BF sword Misfortune.
Zatai here as well has a ton of gold out now as well, so, you know, Save, who once was very comfortable just dueling Italy constantly, is probably going to struggle a bit now, depending on what Zatai goes back and gets from the shop.
It's either going to be a straight death cap or maybe something like a Morella Nomicon, I guess.
I would be very excited for straight death cap.
Doesn't have the goal for it yet, but those spears, if you pick up, you know, 120 AP from those 2 constituent parts of death cap, doing big damage.
Big damages. That's what we'd like to see. I mean, the spears themselves, just based on the damage multiplier from range, do plenty of damage with very little AP. With a Rabadon's, which is, you know, the maximum AP item, as it were, yeah, it gets pretty silly. It's just trading down the bottom lane here. Yeah, poor Loco, a bit too keen on Tristana, trying to get kills, and Jarvan could just make this even worse. They cannot spot him here. This is another nice little spot, although he's going to go for the bush again, I think, which is again still watered. Najin shield not quite close enough to, I guess, I like to call that the Fiddlesticks wall, because I always get owned by Fiddlesticks on this side when he comes over that wall.
It's just a smart awareness from Shield that there's a potential for that, so why not ward it?
Yeah, here comes Lucian down as well, and Jarvan, he's going in. Wolf though, gonna get Howling Gale here. Zephyr in there as well for Xiao coming in. Kid looks for the damage. Cataclysm just huge in there onto Wolf, and no flash available there for Thresh. Gonna get himself killed, and Kid there picks up the kill. I mean, Tristana with the rocket jump able to get out here as mid lane. We're gonna have a fight. Zatai gonna pick that one up. Nice use of the ult there from Save to, yes, pun intended, save himself. Zatai there.
A little bit greedy from Zatai.
Very greedy.
You never really want to duel a Kael. I mean, it never really sorts itself out. No. And the red pot came into wonderful use there.
And sadly, Zatai's already spent the money. Looks like he's going for... Actually got Sork Shoes plus a needlessly large rod, so he can build a number of items there with that one. But nearly tried to 1v1 Zatai there without spending 3,000 gold, which is a lot of gold to have in the bank there. I mean, gold is only as good as you're using it, I suppose, or as you spend it. And Zatai there.
Exactly. There's no secret to leaving gold in your bank account. Unfortunately, there's no special interest rates on Runeterra.
It's not Warcraft 3.
No.
Oh man, that was so cool. Shout out to Warcraft 3.
No buybacks.
No buybacks. No, that's true. It's dead money if it's sitting with you. I mean, you're glad to have it, but you're right.
It was just a fight that Zito didn't need to choose, though. So
No. I mean,
momentary slip.
I don't think he was forced into it either. I mean, showing trademark aggression here is Zatai, but greed there is certainly the word. Kind of funny too, because that plays very nicely on the fact that he didn't spend his money, which is also greedy. He's shaving it up. See, I go for the very elite puns, as you can tell.
Absolutely.
If you guys want, kind of.
So Jace's screwed.
Yeah, PDD is in a spot above the flash acceleration gate's gonna maybe get him out. There's a reckoning. So Illusion though coming in to cut him off, knocks out one person though, who gets cocooned by Elise and I think knocked back in there as well. Gonna get dove on now for the double kill as Save picks it up, and Zatai, he's like, oh hi, my team's all dead now. This is not very useful. He might be able to defend this tower by throwing out some more spears, but Kale and Elise are gonna make quick work of this. So is Xin Zhao actually. And now bottom lane, I think we have problems for Kid. He's very low, bleeds to death there as Ignite goes out. And that double dots there from Loco Doco, able to pick it up.
A momentous fast turnaround there. They were looking really, really struggling, but picking up 3 kills in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, went from 5-1 to... Oh, Zatai's back. Hello. Loco Doco dodged the spear. Can he do it? There it is. Oh, no, never mind. You can't dodge the auto attack.
Double kill.
Yeah, Wolf, they're going to go down as well. Zatai again doing work here. Gets himself the double kill.
Teleport pastry time.
It's pretty good. Zatai has made really strong use of it as well. I'm actually kind of sad to not see the distortion boots coming out again. I wonder if he's going to finish them up. He probably could have.
You usually don't get this much value out of teleport on an Italy. Like, it's great for split pushing and it can be good for position, and you can get some ganks off, but you have no right to get as many kills off as he has here.
No, and both this game and the last one as well, Zatai's got a lot of value out of that summoner spell, so clearly something he's just been enjoying, and he's made very, very strong use of. His decision-making ability is impeccable with that summoner spell, and now I think Elise could be in trouble. Expression here, gonna have to do a lot of repelling. PDD gets jumped on there by Elise, and here comes Illusion around the side to try and save it. Expression goes in there, but a great cataclysm from Illusion I think is gonna be the save here. Nearly trying to hop in there, but can't quite get there. The combo coming out there from Jace to try and poke it off. And the result, a save Jace and a kill there for Nidalee again. Zatai is racking them up right now at 5-1-1.
And AP Nidalee getting ahead just both defensively and offensively gives so much, because of course the AP scales the heal, which is a lot to deal with.
Yeah, Save there taking a pretty massive spear. Oh, Giant around the back here. Save here is like, what's going on? I'm getting ganked by the support from bottom lane. But yeah, that's what's happening. Intervention there from Save. Could be able to save Zatai there. Flash forward there from Kale. I think he may be going to go down here. The Zephyr for the slow. Not quite there for the last tower hit. She's actually going to take a ton of damage in there as well. But Kid will pick it up. And I believe 500 bonus gold in there as well. Which is a nice little bounty. But Zatai could not heal fast enough there out of that Kale damage. And that is going to be another kill there for Save, who just dies there at 4-0. Giving the bounty again to Misfortune.
See some camping from Shield here. Maybe they have the timer on blue buff.
Maybe they want to kill Kid. Maybe tower dive. I'm not sure. Something suspicious is happening. Yeah, Logodoko's, he's in it. Shasha here as well.
Oh, no.
There's a crescent sweep. Yeah, they want to go the box out there. I saw great monsoon there from Shasha, but Kid still getting jumped and they gets picked up by Lokodoko. Here's the reset, Kazik style. As Loco Doco jumps on Jana's head there for the double and jumps out. Turret hit gonna come in. Oh, died there after getting the double reset. Zatai
feels like he just didn't have. He had aggro too early there.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there, but a few too many turret hits there for Loco Doco. And Zatai probably would have cleaned it up regardless, but the last turret hit does do it. Zatai going in here actually wants to go aggressive on the Maulers. Whoop, they're throwing out the lantern. There's the zip away for Nofi. PDD in here as well. Save now in. As Jarvan comes down for 3v3 around the dragon area. So we could see a couple of fireworks here, at least coming around as well.
This is 2 pokers and a team fighter against a more balanced lineup, so I think they definitely want to back away until they can hit a couple more spears like that.
And there we are. Save eats a spear. And that's probably all IG need to try and take this dragon out. They're grouping though on Najin shield. And IG are not that confident in their ability on this dragon here. They don't have the pink ward down. That ward belongs to Najin shield. They're just at the entrance of the dragon pit. They're going to go on it now, though. Actually, a push here from Najin Shield could be an interesting trade. If they get this tier 2 turret, I like it. They may just here with Jana, the only one to defend it. I have the Storm on the turret, not going to last all that long. The Dragon does go down there, and that is going to be the tier 2 turret traded for it, though. So nice bit of pressure there from Shield as Kale finishes that one off. They're going to try and cut somebody off here. Expression, oh man, Illusion misses Q there, I think, on his Standard, that was a bit awkward. And now the poke coming out. Shasha completely caught out. Gonna go down there as a bullet time comes in. Wolf, though, does get intervention there. PDD completely crushed there as Expression picks that one up. Satai pouncing quickly out of the way as Make It Rain happens. Very nice as well. Catching 4 people running through that little choke point. But Shield, they do really nicely there. They trade Dragon for a tier 2 turret and 2 kills.
It's Kale's potency as a pusher there that really afforded that. And it was a wonderful trade from Shield's point of view. To get an inner turret, like so much vision now. To have the 2 mid turrets down for IG is massive because you have so much potential for invade. Oh,
Illusion.
they pick up another kill and they're translating this well. I mean, they might even get at least half damage here, maybe even a 3rd turret out of this, all coming off IG being in better position for a dragon.
They've got very good damage deals when it comes to standing DPS, and turrets are certainly something you like a lot of standing DPS on, and there is going to be enough there to take it out. I mean, Tristana Kale is no joke when it comes to doing damage to turrets. And Thresh there just for a little bit of support to make sure everybody gets out okay. They're going to recall now. Lukaduka has how much gold to spend? Not that much. 1,200 gold. It's going to be a nice little chunk there. Going to get close to finishing a Phantom Dancer here. But Shield...
He's certainly not wanting for gold this game.
No, and Shield are actually ahead in gold. I don't know if they were behind before. I think they might have been earlier on, but they're a couple of thousand gold ahead. I mean, this game is still very close. IG are more than in it, but... You know, Najin Shield, they're not horribly behind. And it looked pretty dangerous when Nidalee was racking up them kills. They were just going to get speared into submission here as the siege started for IG. But no, they've rallied, had some nice team fight, and that's what their comp does very well, is fight, especially compared to IG's.
It's these push siege comps that you kind of want to be ahead in turrets because you always want to be aggressive. You know, you want to hit that poke and then take an objective. But when you're this far behind in turrets, it can actually be quite difficult to coordinate a push comp just because there's so many exits from the side and behind that Najin Shield has access to with these mid turrets down. Like, they have to be very careful how they set up these sieges, otherwise they just might be zerged by a Kale or a Xinjiao.
Yeah, that's a great point actually. And Shield, the one thing we kind of said they want to do against this comp is engage and prevent the disengage. And yeah, I didn't even notice the turret difference. That's racking up a lot of the gold difference here, but that is massive 5-1 in turrets right now. And as you said, certainly not what the poke comp wants here.
They need to equalize the turret before they can go to plan A of chucking spears and acceleration gates.
Oh yeah, they have very little they can do without 3 outer turrets down, let alone the one that they have from top lane there. And Baron is getting cleared out now by Najin Shield. Expression, by the way, did a number on Nidalee there, just dodging those spears. Especially if he gets onto Nidalee, able to do a lot of damage there to Satai. So Satai has to be careful here, especially just doing a bit of split pushing. Nidalee's teleport is up, so she can join the fray here, and at least, of course, without that summoner spell. Not going to do the same here as the Oracles for Wolf continues to clear out a ton of wards here. Just trying to clean out the
in a 1v1 here will smash Satai. I mean, AP Nidalee against a true damage because he's bought Magic Pen and a Rylai's to be sticky. Definitely the gank is very, very appreciated.
Repels out of one spear, tries to get out, falls back onto Satai. Venomous bites away to a creep, dodges into the bush, but Satai there with the spear is going to clean it up. Even at short range, still did plenty of damage, and PDD made the difference. And kind of the thing with Elise.
This is an interesting play here. I can understand why they're doing it. 2 damage dealers bottom, but now they back out.
Yeah, not enough, especially with Satai's teleport. They're going to make that a 4v4 very quickly. And even PDD's acceleration gate makes him run there pretty fast as well. Mid turret.
Finally a turret.
Yes, finally a second turret here. As the mid outer turret falls at 22 minutes for IG. They're rushing in though, trying to pick up somebody. You know, Faye looked a little bit too far forward there for a second. Lances himself back after charging onto a creep. Zatai a little bit too deep, gets pulled back in there by Thresh. The death sentence lands on PDD. Lukaduka takes quite a bit of damage as the bullet time comes in. And Xiaoxia looking to disengage there, activates Monsoon. More spears on the retreat there as Nidalee just chucks them as they run. Najin Shield defend their team.
They clearly have to be careful. I mean, the Shield does have engage. That death sentence there almost spelled what the name suggests to Jace.
And Jace interestingly has a Muramana here. I guess it's kind of a natural evolution of the Tier of the Goddess. I'm just trying to think about how much value actually gets out of it, but
I think it works really well for Jace because he's not going to have any access to blue buff. I mean, Nidalee will monopolize that. He charges it incredibly fast, of course every time he turns from range to a melee form he charges the tier up, so he picked up the tier early, and the tier itself, it's providing, sorry, the Mirror Man itself providing 55 AD for basically cost price. You know, I think 2100 gold or so. So a lot of stats that he needs. The actual mirror mana damage, it's probably best when you use your W. You know, the 3 attacks at 2.5 AD. They all apply mirror mana. So even if you haven't leveled that ability very far, it's very potent with the mirror mana.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. I was just trying to think how the proc worked with his abilities, and you're right, the hyperspeed is definitely probably the best use you can get out of that. That's nifty. That's very nifty. Zatai has finished up his Abaddons, by the way, so 425 AP spears are no joke. Zatai's going to throw as many of them as he can, hoping most of them hit, of course. But I mean, it's still awkward here for IG. Ooh, just
Loco would have been at about a third health there.
Not very much health. Acceleration gate there being used by Jace. Actually, that could be a mistake here as Nofe goes in. Crescent sweep there. Jasha getting crushed under it all as Lycodoga picks up that kill. Great moves here from Najin Shield. Illusion goes over the top there with the flag toss combo, but Shield, if they want, they can just push here. They don't need to fight. Just shove down the mid and pressure this turret. That'll force IG to come onto them at least.
And that's what I was kind of talking about with being behind in turrets there. As you saw the angles they were being attacked from, that wouldn't have happened if they had turrets up.
Yeah, that's true. I think also really good awareness there from Shield, recognizing the acceleration gate got used, and that's a lot of the disengage that IG have is that ability, and it was kind of used just randomly almost by PDD, and that's just Shield like, oh, you don't have this anymore, we can now just jump onto them, and Xin Zhao does what he does best and went straight in there and spun his spear around as Zatai gets caught by death sentence here. I mean, there's going to be a bit of poke here as they run away, but not enough, certainly, to get any kills, and Dragon's still going to be secured here. Zatai continuing to throw spears, misses that one. Blind into the tri-bush, and yeah, Najin Shield continuing to grow this lead. They're still not amazingly far ahead, but 3,000 gold at 25 minutes is not too shabby. And as we keep talking about, that turret advantage is really, really nice for them at this point.
Chaos likes to go for the Rabadon's Death Cap build, which makes perfect sense. The only person who's going to probably be building much health is Jarvan. Everyone else going fairly glass cannon builds here, apart from Janna, who's built a bit of health herself. And the other thing that affords Kayle, of course, is that although she only has, kind of low scaling on her heal, it does have scaling. So at the moment, at level 3, healing for 250, which doesn't negate a spear by any means, but it helps.
Yeah, it's also on a reasonably short cooldown as well.
40% CDR is Kayle's core.
Yes. So it adds up. I mean, Save's going to heal up a little bit here. Ooh. That spear looked dangerously close to Save's face. Heals himself up there. He's like, okay, maybe I need to use this. Get myself a little bit healthier. Here's it. Oh, that's not Zatai. Zatai's here. He's looking for the prime spot there. The spear's over the trees. There's actually some nice wards placed by Shield. Try and prevent that. Get some vision. Save there, takes the spear.
She could have died if that Q had hit.
And that is IG's game plan right there. As you see, as they take down that tier 2 turret in mid. Siege it up, poke, hit a spear on somebody, basically force Najin Shield to back off because they don't want to fight, essentially a 4v5 with somebody that low. And they're picking up a lot of turrets here for free. I mean, we were commenting on before that IG really needed some turrets. They just took 2 in very quick succession there with little answer there for Najin Shield.
The warding was much better here, so there wasn't really any way to zerg them. The IG were on the front foot and Shield definitely playing on the back foot, so sacrificed a bit of positioning there.
Yep. And that'll even up the turret scores almost to par. There's 5-4 now. The gold still slightly ahead for Najin Shield, but it is dwindling. 3,000 looked okay before at about 25 minutes in. Now at just over 1,000 or about 1,500 or so. Nothing to write home about here as we approach 30 minutes. And Baron is definitely on the agenda of probably at least Shield. I think IG definitely want to keep them off it if they can. They don't really have a Baron team, unfortunately. That's probably one of the bigger downsides to poker, so you're not very good at doing Baron.
You say that, but I mean, they do effectively have 2 AD carries and a Nidalee who does a bit of AD damage and can increase attack speed, so they can mow down Baron respectively.
Okay.
The thing that sticks out to me here is that Shield, they have to force a fight. They have a team fight comp, they have tanky members, whereas IG's completely built for damage. They're not interested in fighting till engage, so Shield's got to force something.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, you're right, they do have actually definitely a better Baron team than I thought they would. What IG will have, if they get control of the area and they're able to get exclusive vision and ward it up, they'll just be able to siege it like they would a turret. And effectively, they kind of achieve the same thing there. So, in that sense, which is a little bit wonky, they'll be able to get, be able to get Baron that way. That's probably their plan A in terms of that. Like, you know, their plan A for most things is siege it up and throw spears. That's definitely what Zatai wants to be doing here. You can see just the poke here. Najin Shield staying very far away from it all. But they're warding aggressively.
I think it has to be on Nofi. Nofi needs to make something happen with his flash.
Expression as well. Could also catch somebody with Cocoon. I mean,
it's true.
They need to catch one person, though. You're right. They need something. They need a pick.
Or they can barrel down mid and try and force bad positioning, but they may have to overdive to make anything happen.
Yeah. IG here, kind of scattered. Nidalee is actually coming up, pulling up the rear here, and Elise is also ninjaing around. This is decent here for Najin Shield. They're going to get this inhibitor turret, actually. Tristana's long range there, really coming up trumps. In fact, Jarvan over in there as well, trying to get them off as No Phase dived in there. The box comes out from Thresh. Bullet time in there as well, setting up very nicely with the Cataclysm, but the save there, uses his intervention to save himself. 2 kills for 1 there as the Trader's No Phase goes down, but the Expression picks up Shasha as well for a 3rd kill, but the spears here, as IG chase them down. Zatai though goes down to Loco Doco, gonna cause problems. And 3 for 2, sorry, is the overall trade.
They weren't able to mow down the inhibitor, but the inhibitor turret's a big win for Najin Shield.
Yeah, I mean, oh, look at Kid being very cute. He jumps on the Kid there. Can he 1v1 here? I think he doesn't have enough health. Kid, it's going to be close, but they get the trade. And the shutdown there on Tristan is going to probably mean a win for MF there. But I mean, at least Loco Nu could get the kill, because if he had died there 1v1, that would have been a little bit embarrassing.
It was greed personified, but you make the good point that, you know, giving away a killing spree is an issue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Loco was looking at his stats at that point. He's actually been doing quite well. It was 9-3 before that point. Now 9-4-3. He's got lots of damage items. I mean, we mentioned Siege. Tristana is perfectly fine in Siege situations if they have it under control. Like, if they're getting poked, obviously it's bad. But in that spot where they barreled down mid, it was very easy for them to take out that middle inhibitor turret.
And the ultimate advantage of having that middle inhibitor turret down is that forces a fight around the inhibitor. That's, you know, they have to fight there.
That's true. And now that's a point where Najin Shield can really force, I guess, IG's hand in terms of team fighting, you know. The bottleneck is at inhibitors. I mean, that can try and poke them off it, but it's really hard. There's so much surface area for Najin Shield to work with. So many angles, you know, as you mentioned before with all the towers. They've got lots of angles of attack in a big area like that. And the inhibitor, especially with Tristana's range and damage, is not going to last very long if Najin Shield just kind of poke their heads in. So that is maybe the window that Najin Shield need to close out this game. But IG, they're still not that far behind, and they still have plan A here. Not to mention, Kid is really racking up the damage here. He's got the same build from last game, actually. Black Cleaver blocked this, the last Whisper, and kind of... You saw it really in great effect there in the last little team fight. I mean, yes, Shield did come out on top there, but Cataclysm lines up for bullet time really, really nicely. The diameters are almost the same.
Just feels like such a finely poised game because both comps are now in a position to do what they were picked for, but it's that engage or lack of engage which will just decide the game.
Yeah, it's how well can IG poke and disengage, and how well can Shield dive on and engage. I mean, we're going to find out soon. Baron, something is going to give here. Their objectives are plenty for both teams here. Baron, of course, the big point of contention here is, oh my goodness, I can't believe that spear missed Wolf. That would have been so much of his health as well. So Ty just chucking out really long range spears here.
And the one thing I didn't really consider when I was talking about a fight forced around the inhibitor is that fantastic wave clear from the same ability that Jace pokes with is also a fantastic wave clear tool.
Yep. You can see it there, it takes out all the range creeps in the back. I mean, in a pinch, Kid can use bullet time as well to clear out a big wave, but that's not preferable given that they kind of want to use it in their version of a team fight. You know, if they have to go in, if they poke somebody down. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing. You wouldn't think that, you know, the MF Jarvan combo would be all that useful in a comp that essentially never wants to team fight, but if they get a good spear off and Jarvan can initiate, they can follow up with heaps of AoE burst damage with Misfortune, and then their follow-up poke from there does very nicely as well. Desert is actually getting used there on Xiao Xiao, because he's going to get caught by both Cocoon and the Q there from Thresh, but Expression looks like he took a spear there. His Spiderling takes one in the back. Poor Spiderling. And now IG going to barrel down mid themselves here. They've again
They're a push to some degree.
Yeah, they've got great damage as well. I mean, the same reason they do a lot of damage to Baron that you mentioned before is the same reason they do a ton of damage to turrets as well. They're going to get trade mid inhibitor turrets here. Hopefully not inhibitors. That would not be good news, but Shield have to walk a very awkward way to get back to their base. And they're working on it. It's going down very fast. His Shield If they can initiate, they really want to. Cocoons, they're just missing. Hits the tie, actually. Nope, they're going to go in. Locker getting activated in there as well. PDD has already picked up Lokodoko, though, and save here. Going to probably die as the tie goes in. Just gets over the top there. But Kid's able to pick it up. And this is, I think, in an almost anticlimactic way, probably over for Najin Shield. IG got plenty of damage.
Sure. I mean, Loco couldn't afford to take one poke there. He took both.
Yeah, he took all of it and just died. And I didn't even see him die. In fact, I'm going to find his body. Where is it? Where is it gone? I don't know where Loco's corpse is. I'm sorry, I'm missing more people dying here. I mean, IG, this is their game. Good game, well played. Shield there. I feel like they had that game kind of like with World Elite in their game 1 in that series. I feel like they had a game in the palm of their hand there and just couldn't quite lift it all the way up above their heads and pick up that win there. They were really close in that game, but IG, I mean, it's very punishing to get poked down, and as you said, Lokodoko at the end, they just ate too much poke.